And today in education, a major policy shift has happened. The federal government has scrapped the mother tongue medium policy in Nigerian schools, declaring English as the sole language of instruction from early childhood through to tertiary level.
Now, the decision follows data that the government says shows students taught primarily in indigenous languages have struggled with national exams. But some argue the reversal backtracks on preserving Nigeria's cultural languages and ignores deeper teacher training and resource gaps. To discuss this further, we have Ronke Adeniyi, educationist and parenting coach. And in the studio here with us, we have Qudus Onikeku, who leads the J. Randall Center for Yoruba Culture and History. Gentlemen and lady, you are welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Grand. Ronke, we're going to start with you. Can you walk us through the government's reasoning, and can you tell us if this is appropriate or if it has adverse effects?
Okay, thank you. So you have rightly mentioned that they did mention that it was due to the WAEC results, and that was the reason why they decided that the mode of instruction should be in English alone. Now, it's quite ironic that they say that. First of all, the conference where this was announced was a conference that was organized by the British Council. What are we expecting? The British Council organized something, and then they tell you that the mode of instruction should be English. The theme of the conference was inclusion of languages, yet you exclude Nigerian languages and insist on English as the mode of instruction in the classroom. That sounds to me like neo-colonialism, if not colonization in itself. And it's very troubling because there's a disconnect. I believe a lot of people believe that Nigeria is made up of some areas in Lagos and some areas in Abuja, maybe Port Harcourt as well. The reality is that there are places in Nigeria that people do not speak English. In Nigeria, a lot of teachers cannot speak English, cannot write English. So this policy in itself is already excluding a lot of people, and failure rate will even increase as a result. It is also researched and found that a lot of children actually learn better in the early years when they use their mother tongue. However, this is being excluded as well. So I'm wondering what the reasoning, the intellectual reasoning, because I can't just believe that it's just the WAEC results. Because children in countries where English is spoken also fail exams. So we can't just say it's only as a result of WAEC results. How about we try by being bilingual? Because the reality remains that a lot of teachers in Nigeria cannot speak English, and we will continue to exclude a lot of people as a result of this new policy. I'll stop there for now.
Right. Q. I like the name. From the way you're dressed, you represent culture, and I really love it. I was already telling Mazino to get some Ashoke pants.
I will.
Can you tell us how this reversal is going to affect, our cultural preservation?
I think before we talk about the reversal, it's important to talk about the actual policy itself.
Right.
How were they politically, involved in that policy? What budget has been put in place for research, for training, and for developing new curriculum? Because we inherited a curriculum that is completely colonial. And to my own knowledge anyway, studying in this country, no serious work has been done in relocalizing our educational structure. Education does not mean English. English was a language of teaching, which in itself is based around a certain kind of epistemology, meaning ways of knowing. We had our ways of knowing before the British arrived. So when you want to create systems of knowledge production, you have to go back to your cultural base. That's where you're going to compose everything from. So our educational structure in this country already from the 60s down to this moment has been on a very wrong path. So I thought that policy was the beginning of redirecting our path and coming back to something that is indigenous knowledge structure that has been before colonial process. How are we returning in a way to our own epistemological approach to knowledge making? Not just for Yoruba people, for Igbo cosmology, Hausa cosmology, Ibira, Nok. it's only in the arts and in the cultural space that we still get remnant of this archive. But in terms of knowledge-making process, we've completely dislocalized ourselves to British ways of thinking.
I love the way you just put it. We've neglected the African education, the educational system that was from before, and we've gone all colonial. We've gone all, okay, this is how it works in the world. This is a global village now, after all. I'm going to put that on the side. So it's unfortunate that this is what's happening. This means that we are actually eliminating culture at the end of the day when we take away languages, or even language as a mode of learning.
Absolutely.
But the government's argument is that as we are becoming a global village, Nigerian children are unable to pass Western exams. And this is where the world is going. So is there any justification for them to say, okay, fine, we must instruct in English because this is the language that you are taking these exams in?
It's amazing because African countries are the only countries in the world that teach their children in other languages. Japanese don't teach their children in English. French, I studied in France. You have to study French first before you can start anything. Spanish, the same. German's the same. I can keep going. It's only colonized people, especially in Africa, that continue to uphold the colonial language as a tool for education. I know it's easy to do that because, of course, how do you do about 300 different cultures claiming to be, the principal? But easy doesn't mean that's the way to go. If our current government are taking the hard direction of using, for example, the removal of first subsidy, these are not easy route to take. The ways that they are relocalizing our economy, these are not. If we have to do this work, we cannot just do it in one department and hoping that the rest will just fall in place. We have to do it across the board.
Okay, let me move back to Ronke. Ronke, can you tell us how this is going to affect the student if truly they go ahead, with this situation? How is it going to affect the student comprehension and their fundamental learning, especially in the early, primary stage?
I think the results are still going to be the same because we're not addressing the main issues. Now, this policy that has been passed, for example, do you believe that in the North, for example, that they are going to take this on? A lot of schools in the North, for example, they will teach in Hausa. They're not going to pay attention to this. So we need to pay attention to the overcrowded classrooms, the teacher quality that we have, the curriculum that we have that is not well utilized or even well understood. Yes, it was revised on the 1st of September with 2 weeks for schools to implement it, which was a mammoth task, impossible task as a matter of fact. So I still believe that the results will be the same because that is not the problem. The mode of instruction is not what is causing the major examination failures. We saw what happened with the last exams that they had, where they were still writing exams at 10 p.m. in the middle of the night. Some were using torchlights and candles to write their exams. Those are the issues that we need to face. Those are the issues because children can learn in the early years, up to the age of 6, they can learn 6 languages without confusing them. They can learn it. That is how their brains are wired. So it is possible to learn in English. It is also possible to learn in your own indigenous language and still be successful. As Mr. Q has said, area countries, China, they're globally a top country, and we don't see them begging to speak English. If you go to China, you have to look for your own translator. But in Nigeria, yes, we have a lot of languages that has been mentioned. But until our colonial masters come back and tell us that something is right, we don't believe it's right. Say, for example, speaking Pidgin English at some point was something that we looked down upon until BBC English came and they endorsed it. So those results, they're going to remain the same, in my own humble opinion. Let's look at it next year, and we'll see that it is not this mode of instruction that is causing the examination failure rates.
Ronke, I don't know if you agree with me, but that the authorities perhaps are looking at the symptoms. And the symptoms are very evident when it comes to children failing exams. I'm wondering if there's another layer to this. And let's add 2 more. Let's talk about the teacher mode of instruction aspect of this, which you have noted that teachers even can't speak English. What about we take a look at it from there and attack it? However, there's still one more. It's the curriculum itself, the transcription of that curriculum. If we're unable to define concepts in local language, then it will be difficult in itself to actually pass across that knowledge of that concept. So perhaps maybe the policy should be more directed at transcribing what we are trying to teach children. I don't know. What do you think?
We can transcribe what we are trying to teach children. We have AI now, so it can make life easier in many ways. So the fact that we actually have artificial intelligence, there's so much that we can do for our children. There's so much we can do with our curriculum. Say, for example, history. In many schools, history is not being taught. It has not been taught. Even I went to school and never learned history. The history I know today is as a result of me becoming a historian as an adult. So imagine telling children in Ibadan or your state and telling them their history in their own mother tongue, how they would assimilate it a lot more. But you know what is happening? We are teaching British history. We are teaching American history. So let us use the tools that are available to us. Let us transcribe. Let us teach in languages that will be easy for our children to understand. And then we'll get better results. That's my contribution.
All right, thank you. Qudus, let me come to you now on this aspect of transcribing concepts. Do you think it's easier to just simply attack it from the aspect of, oh, let's just scrap the whole indigenous language thing? Or it's harder, perhaps, let's transcribe these concepts into local languages? What do you think?
So language is not really the first entry point to learning. There are other forms of epistemological approach, you know, dancing, music, drama, oral tradition, storytelling. There are ways at which indigenous concepts have used other ways to take people from not knowing to knowing. So for me, the real problem comes in what is our goal? What do we want to achieve? Education is a means to an end. What is the end we are looking at? And once we can clarify that, then we begin to understand that we need to work our way backwards. Okay, if I want people to be very skilled, like
globally competitive.
Globally competitive does not really mean much in this world now. Nigerians have been very competitive.
That's the argument of the government.
But we've been very competitive. We've been very competitive in our music, in our film, in our fashion, in IT, and Dela is doing amazing work.
Science research.
Science research as well. There is a very important AI cohort, which I'm also a part of. We are doing things, and to think that competition only happens at a particular central in London is the real problem. The world is very decentralized now. People are putting whatever they have online. If someone like Portable can go global. Like, what do we mean by competitiveness? We think that there is a particular square in London or in New York where it's happening, but it's actually being decentralized in a very, very massive way. So if our students in schools are becoming bored in the ways at which traditional education is organized, it's because there's something more exciting for them online. There are other ways at which they are learning things. I have kids who are 10. I can follow what is exciting to them. So we should pay attention to those things and not think that the way our educational structure has been designed is where it's going to happen from. No, our concept in traditional languages, our proverbs, our divination systems,
storification.
We have a lot there already. And that is why for a Yoruba person, for example, it is easier to explain concept to them in their mother tongue because they are already used to listening to those things without even thinking about them as concept. If I tell you things like performance in English and I say performance in Yoruba means Iran, it's easier for him to understand Iran because he can understand that Iran comes from Iranti. Iranti means to remember. And once you gather all of those things together, it becomes very easy to explain. But if you have to explain some concept that's written in Latin or in English to now find a way to translate, we shouldn't be doing translation. We should just be teaching the already embedded philosophy in our languages and how to use that to teach them
undiluted.
Undiluted.
And without fear of it getting lost in translation.
Exactly, and that's the only way at which when they even go into the world, they have something original to share with the world.
Exactly. Oh, that's such a beautiful concept. It gets me excited. I'm sorry, Queen. That was just nice.
So, Ronke, both you and Q, you guys have made emphasis and you guys are so on point as to your views and why it's important for, It's actually true, because the things we learned as babies, what your mother told you, is what we still carry on, because as adults you just go about doing every other thing, but those things that were taught, you know, in your mother language still stays. Now, Ronke, my question now would be, are there communities that committees that are forming right now to be able to counter this, to say we need our mother tongue, we need this for our children to know where they are from? Because yes, Nigerians are spread across the world. Our products, our talent are all over the world. Is this the time for us to lose whatever identity we have? So are there committees trying to put together themselves to say, see, this has to stay?
That's a good one.
Well, the people that I know that are trying to keep and preserve our culture, our heritage, our roots, are doing this independently. I don't believe that there might be, but I don't know that there's a body that is fighting for us to maintain our culture, for us to maintain our language, for us to maintain who we are. The society in itself, we are born into a programming. We are born into a programming where we think like people that are colonized. The way we want to speak, we go on holidays for 2 weeks and then we are coming with an accent. The way we look, a typical woman is wearing a wig on her hair, you know, we are bleaching our skin. Already, the society is already programmed for you to act like you need some kind of proximity to whiteness. So we need to get together, those little bodies. I have a body, for example, called the Rooted Movement, where we have conferences, we go to schools, we tell children to take pride in who they are as Africans. And I know people that are doing things in different pockets. And what we are trying to do is to collaborate, to work together so that we can have a bit more impact in what it is that we're doing. As I'm speaking now, I'm in Delta State. I live in Lagos State. I'm in Delta State, and I've come with this message just so that the teachers will take it back to their schools. We have songs, we have so many things that we are doing so that people will continue to take pride. And the schools themselves, they need to understand that even if you want to adopt this British, because the schools, more than anybody, the schools can do a more impactful job. If the schools understand that you don't have to kill yourself to have a British curriculum, American curriculum, Africans in ourselves, we're so intelligent, we should be able to have our own curriculum as Africans. But no, we don't know how powerful and beautiful our curriculum is. As a matter of fact, I will talk about that history again. That history erosion in our classroom is not letting us take pride in the things that we have. Think about the music, think about the Burna Boys, the Whiskies and stuff. They use languages in what it is that they are doing. So let us start with maybe the schools. If you can get the schools to understand that and insist that they teach history, insist that we use a significant element of our curriculum, then we'll be able to have a more significant impact. And we can see now that a lot of British schools are coming into Nigeria as well. They're still not teaching history. This is neo-colonialization happening all over again, and we're just watching. So maybe more than any particular institution, it should be the schools.
Wow, Ronke, thank you so much. But before you go, Q, you're still here. Before you go, can you tell us something interesting, either a proverb or something you'd like to say in your dialect? And for us that may not understand, you can translate.
Well, I'm not Yoruba. Well, my name is Ronke, but there's something that I love very much. I love the song. It says, Batamiadu koka, Batamiadu koka, Timbaka weni, Batamiadu koka. And this is a song that we teach our children in school. Right. I was taught this song. Our Yoruba teacher in our school, they teach the children things like that. Right. Let us go back to our roots. Let us go back to proverbs. Let us go back to those songs that we used to sing, the games that we used to play. Let us take pride. We are very, very rich culturally, and losing it is a complete loss to everything that we are. Let us just take pride in being Black people, because we can never be anybody else. Right. Anything else, we are counterfeits. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh. Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Thank you very much, Ronke. Thank you for that acoustic a cappella session.
Yeah.
It will be the first. It's recorded as one of our first.
And she mentioned games before. I remember Tinko Tinko and Ten.
Then there's all of that.
Yay.
And Qudus, please give us something interesting. You are a custodian of culture, so you must have something really deep. I'm sure you've been thinking about it.
I feel like proverbs. I feel like he has a lot of proverbs.
Yes, just one, please. Anything. And I hate to put you on the spot.
Well, which one should I say? I should say a proverb. There's one that I like lately. Agbele kofa kinshegbe arena kofa.
Meaning?
Meaning someone who Ari no kofa kin shagbe agbele kofa. Someone who learns wisdom on the road, who learns wisdom traveling, is not the same as somebody who sat at home learning.
That's what I need to call you, because you're constantly
there's a reason why I
traveling.
should say this, because I'm a traveler. I love to be on the road.
That's
Yeah.
it.
So it's a very interesting concept, and it gives me a whole new definition to Mazino appeal. Yeah, and the producers are getting jealous that the focus is on me,
Yes.
asking us to end the session now.
Yes.
But Qudus, thank you.
Thank you
Ronke,
so
thank you very
much.
much.
Thank you,
Fantastic
guys.
conversation.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
enjoyed it.
Thank
I'm
you.
looking forward to seeing where this policy will go, if we'll absolutely adopt it or maybe we'll change
Or at least
along the
improve
way.
it.
Let's look for improvement instead
Yes.
of absolute change.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Now, thank you, everybody.